Right now, there is a hidden, incredibly intense battle raging in the boardrooms of Europe's top football clubs. It's a literal war over money, over power, and honestly, over the very survival of the beautiful game. UEFA has essentially dropped a financial guillotine, and the ripple effects are tearing through the transfer market as we speak.
Welcome to a brand new explainer on the Sportx Radar YouTube channel. Before we unravel all this chaos, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our deep dives. Okay, let's get into it. Today, the annual transfer market has hit an absolutely absurd 8 billion euros. That is a staggering amount of cash changing hands every single year, and it's pushing the entire sport to the absolute brink.
To really understand how crazy things have gotten, let's rewind a bit. Up until 1961, players in England could earn a maximum weekly wage of just £20. Fast forward to 1992, the dawn of the Champions League era, and the total European transfer spend was sitting around 300 million euros. Contrast those humble beginnings with the hyperinflated, completely unsustainable financial bubble we are living in right now, where that number has skyrocketed past 8 billion.
And here's where things get genuinely terrifying. Over the last 10 years, player wages across Europe have surged by 120%, but club revenues, like broadcasts and sponsorships, have only grown by 65%. Wage growth has literally nearly doubled revenue growth. You really don't need a degree in economics to know that the math there simply does not work long-term.
Plus, it's not just the players taking the bigger slice of the pie. We have to talk about the agents. In just 10 years, the annual commissions paid out to player agents have exploded from $200 million to over $850 million. That is nearly $1 billion leaking out of club budgets and going straight into the pockets of middlemen, melting away club finances every single year.
So, all of this leads us to this dramatic reality. 55% of European professional clubs are technically operating at a loss every single season. More than half of the industry is heavily reliant on massive outside cash injections from billionaire owners or state funds, literally just to keep the floodlights on.
Section 1. UEFA's 70% Guillotine, the new financial sustainability rules.
Obviously, something had to give. When the pandemic hit, European football suffered a devastating €7 billion loss, which practically wiped out the industry's remaining equity. This forced UEFA to finally deploy a much-anticipated radical solution. After a 3-year phase-in period, this summer, the 70% rule went fully active. Here's the core mechanic. If a club generates 100 million euros in revenue, their total football costs, which means player wages, transfer amortizations, and agent fees, cannot exceed 70 million euros. It is a brutal cut, especially when you realize the European average over the last 5 years has been hovering at a highly dangerous 73%.
Now, you might be thinking, didn't we already have financial fair play? We did, but the old FFP was deeply flawed. It looked backward, evaluating total trailing losses over a 3-year period. It was way too slow. The new FISR system, it's ruthless. It demands real-time, live auditing of a club's current revenue and spending.
Section 2. The Resistance and the Loopholes. Chelsea, Man City, and Accounting Wars.
When you tell the world's most ambitious clubs they have to immediately stop spending, they don't just quietly put their wallets away. They fight back. We're seeing an all-out civil war right now. On one side, Premier League giants like Chelsea and Manchester City argue that this strict cap completely kills competition and was specifically designed to hinder English dominance. On the other side, UEFA and figures like La Liga's Javier Tebas argue that without these strict parameters, the entire ecosystem will just go bankrupt. We aren't taking sides here, but it's vital to see how this rule is fundamentally reshaping inter-club competition.
To really grasp why that resentment exists between the big leagues, just look at the financial chasm. The Premier League alone generates roughly 4 billion euros in annual broadcast revenue. That is double the TV money of its closest rival, La Liga. Because of that massive income, English clubs naturally get a much larger 70% slice to work with compared to the rest of Europe. Even the Premier League itself had to adapt its own domestic rules to align with UEFA, creating the squad cost ratio. But get this, it sparked massive outrage domestically. Why? Because English teams competing in Europe face that strict 70% limit, while Premier League teams not playing in UEFA competitions are given a massive, lenient 85% allowance. It's creating a fierce debate about fairness right inside their own league.
So how are clubs surviving the 70% cap right now? Well, welcome to the dark arts of modern accounting, specifically the amortization loophole. Say a club buys a player for 100 million euros.
Instead of taking a massive €100 million hit today, they sign the player to a massive 5-year contract. Mathematically, they record the cost as just €20 million per year for the next 5 years. It's an accounting magic trick.
Because of this obsession with legal and mathematical loopholes, the entire structure of football club back offices has transformed. Believe it or not, over the last 3 years, financial analysts and sports lawyers now completely outnumber traditional talent scouts at many top clubs. The modern game is no longer just one on the grass, it is literally one in the spreadsheets.
Section 3. The Football Economist. Future Impacts and Fan FAQs.
Let's put on our football economist hats for a second. What does all of this actually mean for the future of the sport? Look at the historic net transfer spend data. Over the last decade, the Premier League has accumulated a massive negative net spend of €11 billion. Meanwhile, leagues in Spain and Italy have actually shrunk their spending, sitting at a profitable positive €1 billion. That era of unlimited English debt accumulation is exactly what this 70% rule is aggressively trying to course correct.
Based on all this, here is our market forecast for the next 5 years. You need to be ready for a radical shift. Because clubs are getting strangled by the 70% cap, raw cash transfer volumes are expected to shrink by up to 40%. Instead, we are predicting a historic explosion in player swap deals. For the first time ever, swap deals could actually exceed 50% of total transfer activity.
Now, we've been seeing a ton of questions from fans about what actually happens if a club breaks these rules. Well, if a club cheats the system, UEFA now has the power to instantly confiscate 30% of their European prize money. And the ultimate sanction? If a club commits 3 consecutive financial breaches, they face a total Champions League ban. That's right, even if you win the whole tournament, you could be banned the very next year for financial doping.
It's a completely new landscape out there, and it leaves us with one massive provocative question to end on. Are UEFA's new rules finally saving football from its own financial ruin? Or, by capping spending based strictly on current revenue, are they just pulling up the ladder to protect the old elite clubs forever, making it totally impossible for a new challenger to rise up? Let us know what you think down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next explainer.